British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good afternoon, I'm Celine Teixeira, and here is the latest news at 1 o'clock. Striking BC public service workers say its job action against the province over wages and compensation is now the longest strike in the province's history. The BC General Employees Union expanded picket lines to 10 offices and facilities across 5 cities today as the strike enters its 4th week. Workers began picketing yesterday at liquor and cannabis distribution warehouses in Delta, Richmond, and Kamloops in direct aim at the public. There are now more than 12,000 workers involved in job actions against the province in the dispute. 2 people have been arrested at the British Columbia farm where the Canadian Food Inspection Agency is expected to begin culling ostriches after some of the flock was infected with avian flu. RCMP moved the ostrich enclosure where Katie Patensney and her mother, Karen Epperson, have been overnight. Staff Sergeant Chris Clark could not confirm who was taken into custody, but did say 2 people inside the closure were arrested. Canadian singer Sarah McLachlan is set to appear on Jimmy Kimmel's first show back since the late-night comic was suspended last week. ABC's Alex Stone has more.
As the show comes back on the air, actor Glenn Powell and singer Sarah McLachlan will be on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Powell promoting his new sports comedy TV series called Chad Powers. On Wednesday, actor Ethan Hawke and Abbott Elementary's Lisa Ann Walter will sit down on the couch with Kimmel. And on Thursday, Peyton Manning will be on. 2 large owners of ABC television stations, Nexstar and Sinclair, say they will continue to preempt the show in their markets.
A judge is recommending Alberta to keep cribs on hand for families who need one after a baby was smothered to death in his sleep. Provincial Court Justice Mariella Carmiati says in a facility report the mother found 5-month-old unresponsive in a bed in 2017, with his body almost completely covered by a sleeping sibling. The report says the Edmonton family's caseworker had requested a proper crib for the baby, but there was a delay of almost a week in getting one. The judge says Children and Family Services offices should keep a few cribs available and consider standards for how long it should take to supply one to a family in need. The report says there is evidence families in the system often need these cribs. Now on to international news. As Canada announced that it is now recognizing Palestine as a state, they hope to have democratic elections in the region again. Our reporter James Nyo has more on what these potential elections could look like.
Canada reaffirmed its stance on a 2-state solution in the Middle East by recognizing the state of Palestine on Sunday. However, they hope a solution includes a democratic election without Hamas as an option. Because of this, SFU professor James Horncastle suggests that Canada will try and help establish a stable Palestinian government in the West Bank instead of Gaza.
Hamas controls Gaza. So Canada is going to try to increase its relationship with the Palestinian authorities in the West Bank and try to end up basically increasing their legitimacy so that it can have appeal to the people within Gaza.
Hamas took power in the region in 2006, and no elections have been held ever since. James Ngo, BCIT News.
With more on NATO at a news conference, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte says Russia should know the alliance will react however needed to further airspace incursions.
If necessary, you can be assured we will do what is necessary to defend our cities, our people, our infrastructure. But this is how it works. So it doesn't mean that we will always immediately shoot down a plane. We will, as I said, based on clear dimensions, assess the situation real time based on all the available intelligence.
Trump says he now believes Ukraine will back all territory lost to Russia with NATO's help. President Donald Trump says Ukraine can win back all territory lost to Russia. It's a dramatic shift from the U.S. leader's call on Kiev to make concessions. Trump offered his position in a social media posting soon after meeting with Zelensky on Tuesday on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly. The weather in the Lower Mainland will be mostly sunny with a high of 20 degrees by 2 p.m. That was your latest news headlines for the afternoon. I'm Selena Teixeira, and you're listening to BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.